Okay. It's a steam clock that's powered by electricity to make it the steam, and then push the steam.
Nice.
It's supposed to be like, you know, the old days. This has become the total tech hub for Vancouver down here, these few blocks. All our bar camps take place down here, and kind of online social events. A lot of the startups are down here. This is just like old historical Vancouver, Victory Squares over there, our big memorial park. And that's one of my favorite buildings. Like, as you start to go this way, you start to get into like the really popular. But this is the newest redevelopment in the city, right here. And it's been totally interesting because it's like supposed to be the future of housing, where it's like retail on the ground floor, and then like some commercial offices above that, and then all residential in one tower. And then there's like the university right there, so the university campus is right in that same block. And then the next tower is social housing.
Wow.
So it's a mix of social housing, fancy fat cat condos, the university, retail.
There's integration.
Yeah. Like heart and personality of the city, this is like ground zero. Like, you know, in the one direction is Olympics and just rich Vancouver awesomeness, and in the other direction is total gentrification and poor support in Canada. And this space is contentious because, like, before they put this redevelopment in, which just opened like a month ago for the Olympics, it was like an anarchist squat for a winter because we have a homeless problem. So 4,000 homeless people moved into this abandoned building. Then they get pushed out and they put this big fancy place in or whatever. So this is like, you want to know what it's like to be in Vancouver, this is the block where you're going to kind of find stuff like that out. So where I'm taking you guys next is the W2 Culture and Media House. W2 is this downtown east side like community and arts organization. We teach like youth and downtown east side artists and residents with like systematic barriers that are keeping them in poverty. We teach them about creative technology, the internet, storytelling, how to get your stories online, give them phones and training and computer space, internet space, and stuff like that. So that's what we do in general. And the cool thing about W2 is we're moving in right over here. So that it says W2 Cafe on the window right there. That's going to be our cafe in April. And the second floor right out here where I'm about to show you, that's going to be our office. But for now, we're running this thing called the W2 Culture and Media House for the Olympics, which is just a bunch of dudes like us, citizen journalists, hyper-local media, but people who are here to cover the Olympics. And they don't have accreditation or access or anything like that. So we are hosting press conferences and meetings and networking meetups and parties at night and all sorts of stuff. You gotta come back here tonight though, because there's a really cool art exhibition going on. There's flames being projected on all 3 floors of this building, so it looks like it's burning down. Like, every day the fire department gets called. There's a mass of people standing out here. There's going on today called the Red Tent Project, where they gave all the homeless people red tents so that they stood out.
Yeah, I read about that, yeah. Nice.
Don't forget.
Hey, how's it going? We're bringing a bunch of people by for a tour.
Great.
So, welcome to W2 Culture and Media House. You're welcome to come here whenever you want and pop on the internet and do stuff.
Cool.
There's a bunch of stuff going on right now. One is Downtown Art Walk Art Show. So this show was curated for this month. A bunch of downtown east side artists who are part of this space here and work out of this space. Shalom Johnson, Blackbird J, Jeremy Cole, Dustin Rivers, a First Nations Squamish youth who's also a blogger. He blogs in the Squamish language. Only guy I know in the whole world who blogs in the indigenous language.
So you're pretty sweetly involved in this place.
I'm on the board of directors of W2 here, and you know, I've been talking about doing True North Media House and a media and culture house with this for a long time. So yeah, I've been an advisor to this project.
What's the True North Media thing about?
True North Media House is True North Media House is another group of people who are doing independent media and kind of social media thing during the Olympic Games. The main difference is True North Media House is kind of like a virtual project. It doesn't need 4 walls like a space. It's a bunch of guys who are sharing an event calendar, sharing access and resources, and going out every single day and like just stack days, right? Like, let's go to these 3 pavilions, then we're gonna go to this event, then we're gonna walk in this demonstration. And so just a bunch of people who are doing citizen media, licensing it all with Creative Commons and all tagging it all True North Media House. So it's this virtual, you know, band of merry media-making scallywags just roaming all over the city and doing stuff. So it's more of an initiative or a movement than a space. Whereas W2 is here to provide resources and technology and infrastructure, like a place for press conferences, cameras, training for how to use technology, fast internet, food and coffee and beer and networking pavilion, art gallery space. So they're different. You know, one's like the movement of doing the activism, and the other one's like a support network for that taking place. Oh.
Oh, this is sweet.
Wait, where are we going?
Upstairs.
Oh.
On a badass elevator.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone who wants to can take the stairs. I think
I'm down for this. Well,
Oh my god. Where are we going?
all hands inside the vehicle. So the second floor we're not getting off at is the Legal Observers Program from the BC Civil Liberties
Oh,
Union.
so that's all the guys in the orange jackets,
That's all
right?
the guy in the orange jackets that go around to all the demonstrations, and they're just documenting the interactions between the cops and the protesters to make sure that everyone feels looked after and protected.
so what do you feel about some of the protests and stuff that's going on?
Well, I think the Olympics have pros and cons, and it's good to see people get together and meet folks like you and kind of share commonalities. On the other hand, you know, there's other stuff going on too. So
Yeah, sure.
it's a shame that they went
All right, and so this is, you're recording your first album now, is that, and that's called Urgence?
working journalistic areas. Third floor.
And I guess you're recording it here in Vancouver?
Let me see what else I can show you. Let me show you the backside. This is kind of interesting, just the backside of the Oh, this is a video editing bay. Hey, what's going on, man? Painting over this wall that we use as a green screen.
Ooh, nice. That's cool. What's up?
Awesome.
Let's all take the stairs back out.
Very cool.
So you can see there's just some stuff going on, trying to figure out what just going on, follow them around.
What's going on with the tent city?
Let's go check
Okay, yeah, because I was wanting to run by there.
It's called OMG, I'm on TV, I'm on .tv. This guy built a piece of software that you can load YouTube videos into a playlist and then broadcast them through a television antenna on pirate television and receive them within the same block.
Wow.
So this, even though it looks like digital television and it's YouTube, that's coming analog from broadcast from our roof like the old school television. They have these protests called Heart Attack, which were 2010 Olympic resistance protests. And they were out like clogging the streets and throwing, you know, things through windows and stuff. And so I was out there taking photos, and I had my media accreditation stuff on like I always do. And you know, I'm not a demonstrator, I'm a photographer. And
Sure.
but this cop kept telling me to move back, and was kind of like, I was already on the sidewalk, and I knew I didn't really have to move back, like, and so I just wasn't. I just continued taking pictures. And the guy just like, boom, and like hits me right in the face with a fucking riot shield, right? And I'm like, and I was just shocked, like so stunned. And I'm picking up my badge. I'm like, I'm Kris, and I'm shooting for the LA Times, and I have the right to fucking be here. You can't just like hit me if you feel like it. And dude's like, boom, and hits me again in the face with the fucking riot shield. Actually, by that time it was a little bit on the side. The first time was in the face, the second time was on the side.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, it was ugly, you know, and then I flagged down his supervisor, and his supervisor says, you know, if you got his badge number, you can get a complaint. And he kind of escorted me a little farther from the protesters at my request, because
Yeah.
this guy was a little gnarly, but yeah, just, it's hairy out there, tensions are high, the protesters are pissed, the people who don't like the protesters are pissed. We're gonna wander right through traffic with you guys across the street.
Is this place good?
I have no idea. I don't think so. I think it's good if you're 7 years old and you're getting HRDA. This is brand new, just came today, and you know, we have a major problem with homelessness in Vancouver. I think they gave out red tents to help people, make it a little more visible, you know? Yeah. Close picture.
And then also
Oh yeah, the legal observers.
Do you see the cop taking pictures of us? Will you take a picture of the cop up there?
Where is that? Oh, yeah.
vacation.
Oh, good. You need to be listening.
Learning about what's going on and stuff. And,
Great to
Say
know.
it again.
what did I say? What did I say?
Introduce them again.
Are Karen and Larry, and they're from the National Lawyer and Legal Aid from National Lawyers Guild. They live in Bellingham. They're just up here helping out with stuff. You know, we got a lot of people practicing their right to freedom of speech about the Olympics this week, and some of them are encountering some resistance and trouble for that. So these guys are just here to make sure that everyone can cooperate and has their rights protected, and just, looking out for folks. And you guys do this at other events around the world?
Oh
as well?
yeah,
Yeah, we have.
mostly in the U.S., but
Republican National Convention at WTO and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Awesome. So we're urging people to go to the U.S. Social Forum in Detroit in June, and then there's a G8 protest right after that. So
in Toronto, and we'll be there.
okay, awesome.
So
Yeah, it's awesome you guys come up. These guys are all from a hyper-local news site in North Carolina, just doing their thing.
We're in North Carolina.
Charlotte.
Oh, neat.
good for you.
I did a summer in law school, an internship on workplace health and safety in Durham, but we spent a lot of time working with unions in Charlotte.
Your friend was getting in trouble about that. That was the dude with the kid in his arms?
Using on the premises and no drinking and
People can come if they've been using.
people can come if you're a little inebriated but not to cause problems here. As long as you're not using on the ground here, we don't allow that. You're going to be asked to leave.
But you can come with your high.
But you can come if you're high.
Decided.
Just to let everybody know that this is a peaceful place, no drugs, no alcohol. If you come and you're under the influence and you're going to support us, we don't mind as long as we're not having a scrap. So peace and love, everybody. Thanks.
Whatever, on board with went to W2 and started checking the place out and asking a bunch of questions. So BC Civil Liberties and Legal Observers came in, they're filing a complaint and asking for an explanation. So they're just trying to like make sure there's some balance. Yeah, we're fine across good. The W on the top of the building just stands for Woodwards, and that's the name of the department store that built this huge structure way back when. It's a bit of a Canadian institution. And then for those with wide palates, there's the New Amsterdam Cafe a couple doors down. You can legally buy marijuana around here, and you can go in there and smoke it. Can't smoke cigarettes inside, but you can smoke joints in there. And they've expanded. The BC Marijuana Party headquarters, which one of our political parties is next door. And there's a seed bank where you can go buy different kinds of seeds and clones and young plants and stuff like that. If you go into the, let's walk on back down to the scene block and conclude our tour. This is nice place. It's been Pacific Coast for fishes and stuff. Get the Russian coaches over here.
Do you need to pay to use W2's facilities?
Well,
or?
yes and no. First floor is free. Come in, hang out, do whatever you want. If you want a coffee or a sandwich or Wi-Fi, you can spring for the $2, $5, or $10, or whatever.
Okay.
If you decide you really want to hammer out some work and spend some time, we can give you a desk up at the third floor with a landline. Now that costs $25 for a day to have a desk and an internet connection and stuff.
Sure.
But first floor is free. Come in, hang out all you want, do whatever you want there. Just if you want coffee or Wi-Fi, you can pay for that.
Thanks for playing tour guide.
It's a neat
Yeah,
place.
It's a fantastic tour.
Thanks a
Yeah,
lot.
even though I've been here for a while.
That's what you were saying. All right, well, thanks a lot, guys. Yeah, it's a cool.
Peace out.
Alright, so what do you guys, Alright, eat?
Let's go back to that place.